customs. Thus, that problem is called semantic heterogeneity. Then the next one is schematic heterogeneity. If there are differences in data models or data structures, ICAR collects data in a particular way, and then if the data model is not harmonized with Saurav India's data model, then there is a likelihood of schematic heterogeneity that needs to be addressed. Then the third level is the syntactic heterogeneity. Thus, these three levels of heterogeneities are required to be addressed if we want to effectively share the data. That's the those are the problems in data sharing between databases. Then different institutional constraints, like these are all data access constraints, the rights of use constraints. Government is authorized to use. A non-government organizer may not have the right to use. Thus, there is the problem of sharing. Then cost also. Village boundary data are very expensive from an agency. Thus, how one can expect using the village boundary data in applications. Thus, these are some of the problems. And then you can see a concept of SDI here in the diagram in the upper portion of the slide. And you can see, in fact, the user is sitting here beyond the internet. The communication technologies have improved enormously. The internet provides or gives access to mobile devices, computers, desktops over the net. Thus, on the one side, these are the users, or human users or software users on this side. And on the other side, you can see these are the databases. Like you are talking of 6 different repositories. For NSDI, these are different agency databases here in the bottom portion. And there is a component called catalogs. In fact, all these data sets have to be cataloged at some place or are registered at some place. And the fourth component is geoprocessing or the catalog services. In fact, this is the component that facilitates access to catalogs and delivery outputs to the end user. Any comment? Okay, these are the core components of an SDI. These are the core components of SDI. And you can see all these are going to be hosted on computers. The databases are going to be hosted on computers, catalogs on computers. The service providers have to provide geoprocessing services or catalog services by NSDI on computers, and these are also computers, these are applications. All these computers, if they have to interoperate, then only it will be possible to establish SDI. Thus, the concept of interoperability here and computer human interoperability is defined as the ability of systems to access, display, and analyze data from a number of distributed but interconnected sources. Data reside in different organizations and access to data. They need access to services, data services. Data sets should be accessed as links or service links. Thus, the service orientation in our thought, in our mindset is an important requirement. And the concept of SOA is as follows. You can see there are three components. One is the catalog or the registers, where the metadata is going to be stored, and the real data, and then the users. In fact, in a way, this is the same diagram what I showed before, but this is considered as the fundamental SOA architecture concept. That means the data has to be published in the catalog, and the user should be able to find the data through metadata in the catalog, the published data, and based on that metadata can bind itself, the user software can bind itself with the data. Thus, this is that famous publish, find, bind concept, which is called service-oriented architecture. Thus, NSDI is implementing those with these objectives. I showed you the goals before. Now, these are the objectives: develop and maintain standard digital collection of metadata for spatial data, provide single window access mechanism, like ICAR CRISI is emerging as the single window access for all the geoportals it is connected to. This, that kind of single window access is supposed to be provided by NSTI. Then establish the supportive institutional, legal, and technical frameworks. I came across Dr. Segal's presentation, the policies, the data sharing policies. In fact, that's an institutional supportive mechanism. Without that policy, users would not be able to understand which data is to be shared with him. Government may not be able to access or may not be able to have the right of access. What kind of access by which level of official, that may not be clear. Thus, there is a need for having the supportive policies or institutional framework. Then there is a need for promoting research, training, education, and capacity building amongst the NSTI activities. Then increasing awareness and understanding of SDI vision, concepts, and benefits. And the deliverables are the following. Over the past 3 years, the deliverables have been National Data Registry service, then the GeoCloud Data Center. There should be a platform for processing of data. I'll show you those details, how those have been delivered over the past 3 years. Then the state SDI data nodes. As I said, state agencies collect a lot of data and trained staff. And on this slide, you can see the integration of data from MOSPI with Karnataka State Council. You can see here integration of Mysore village boundary data, that is from government of Karnataka, with statistical data source Ministry of Statistics program implementation on the NSTI cloud platform. In fact, I'll take a bit later. Now, we will cover in more detail the most important outcome over the past 3 years, that is the data registry services. The data registry service is characterized by the following 5 items. You can see a portal. This is username password accessible. Accessible through username password. Because of various reasons, you will be able to realize the characteristics. First, let us get into the web registry service. In fact, this portal provides ways to register a data provider's data. For example, South India provides a particular data item, then that can be registered here with a unique feature ID and some metadata. There are 2 types of metadata. I will come to that a bit later. And then the second item is unique feature identification. The registration ID. Each data item should be uniquely identifiable so that it can be easily searched, discovered, tracked, and used. Then the third one is the catalog service. In fact, the catalog service is an automatic service for the feature services, map services. We have developed so many feature services for visualization, map services for visualization and feature services for processing of feature data. Thus, those need to be cataloged. That catalog service on web specification from OGC has been used for providing this catalog service. Then the NDR node has to periodically harvest the metadata, a very important requirement, because the experience with NSTI has been that the metadata has not been updated the way NSTI wanted, the executive committee wanted. Thus, there is a need for establishing a mechanism of automatic harvesting. That means from the NDR portal, there should be a mechanism to harvest the metadata from the respective geoportals of different agencies. That harvesting mechanism has been implemented as a part of NDR. And then the simple dynamic query. We would show you how a sample exercise has been laid out for database to implement simple query, but very complex querying or geospatial application processing would require a lot of computing power and good bandwidth. Thus, we are writing here simple dynamic or processing services by aggregating, adding feature data services from multiple sources. That means in order to really use the NDR and the map and NDR and map feature services, we need a processing platform, and thus there was a need for bringing out an RFP, because all these cannot be immediately done by our own staff, and that too India is not well equipped in terms of manpower also changes. There is a need for a contract management requirement in every agency because all these routine activities can't be done by staff already available. What is the role of an agency? What is the role of each person? Is it administrative or technical? That we have to see and understand. Which role should be assigned to whom? Which role should be there with the technical personnel? Which role should go to the contractor? Is an important thing to be understood here because the data sets have to be maintained over time. It is one time or ad hoc data creation. Data has to be maintained. Softwares, hardwares have to be maintained, and there should be dedicated staff for that. Then only it would be an infrastructure. Thus, there is a need for engaging a geospatial contract for or system integrator or geospatial contractor for managing all this. Thus, this is from the RFP of the NDR. You can see this is again same publish find bind model, but the RFP document of NSTI contained this diagram. I'll just explain a bit because this is important for today's presentation and deliberations. Thus, you can see these are the national agencies with their data assets, and metadata, because this is data asset. This has to be maintained over time. It is not just research data collected and left behind. This has to be institutionalized. The process of data maintenance has to be institutionalized. The data asset, and this is metadata about the data. This has to be there for each agency. Here, national agency, SOI, NRSC, NBSS, GSI, IMD, Census of India, all of these constitute the box, the national agencies. This is the state agencies. These are the academic, industry, or the citizen, the civil society organization agencies. A lot of social media data are coming through, which are not acquired through government mechanisms. Thus, a lot of data come from this box. Thus, all these are to be registered in this data registry and in the service catalogs. You can see this is the middle tier, and this is that publish state. All these agencies have to publish their metadata here. No data to come here, but it has to be only metadata. And here is the processing platform, the geospatial cloud platform has been installed in Hyderabad, of India campus, Hyderabad. It also stores some of the WFS which are getting downloaded data for processing, and then the processing outputs are given to the user applications, products, or decision support systems, and ultimately to the user in the form of a visualization. That is map service. But here, the standards from OGC, those are used, are map service, feature service, and processing service. Why feature service? Because the user applications or the decision support systems may need feature data for processing to serve to the user. Thus, there is a need for providing the feature data, standards-based feature service, and standard-based processing service for further processing here at this level. Thus, this can be edge computing, or that this can be this may be cloud computing, but this can be a lower-level computing power like edge computing that would help for processing. Thus, on this side, the National Data Portal, this is a part of the National Data Sharing Policy. The National Data Portal has been established by NIC, data.gov.in. You might be already familiar with. That is providing the non-spatial data mostly. And that non-spatial data should be integrable because the National Data Portal has got several catalogs. Those catalogs have to be linked to the NDR or NSDI catalog for proper integration. But this has not happened so far. This is still in the process of getting developed. But what has happened is, I would show you the data registry part and processing done on this platform from these agencies. Thus, before I go over to the next slide, I would like to highlight the interoperability standard specifications. Those have been used. That is WMS here, as we discussed, WMS, WFS, WPS, and here there is catalog service on web, CSW, with electronic business registry information model. In fact, all these agencies have to register their metadata here in the NSDI's NDR portal using standards. Thus, the CSW EBRIM standard has been used. And then there is a standard from ISO called 19135. That is, 19135 is procedures for registration of geographical objects. That standard has also been implemented in this NDR implementation. And of course, as you are aware, the metadata standard 19115 and the BIS standard, this is that Indian standard 16439. This is metadata standard evolved through the STI mechanism and discussed in BIS for bringing out the standard, the national standard. Thus, this is the solution in the geospatial contract manager provided, geospatial contractor provided this solution. In fact, you can see this is the data node. This is the detailed implementation direction I'm trying to present. These are further technical details. If you need, you can have questions on this. We can discuss later. But broadly, the message is this, that this is the data node. Like NBSS LUP should have a data node. Maybe ICAR PRISI is the data node here, because you heard about GeoServer implementation, SQL PostGIS database, and then there are many kinds of things coming from different data collection exercises. This is the data node, and these data nodes provide the metadata which are harvested. You can see registry harvest by the NDR node here. This is the NDR, the green letter. You can see NDR node here. It harvests, and then the data metadata gets registered here in the database. These are all open source databases, and those are accessed by the user through the NDR Geo portal. There is also a functionality for publishing, for printing of maps, that is based on the standard-based symbols of different organizations like SOI, GSI, FSI. They have standard-based symbols which are a part of this Geo portal, NDR Geo portal node, NDR node. Thus, this has been further implemented. Thus, I am now coming to show you the SOI, Sarof India. Sarof India, this is the Sarof India data layers. You can see SOI block, SOI hospital, SOI point of interest, SOI police establishment, SOI religious, residential. This is the Sarof India data model. This has got metadata, view metadata. One can see metadata and can be harvested also from the Sarof India data node. This is the catalog service access HTTP 10. In fact, this was to be this could have been shown online today, but due to shortage of time, we chose not to show, but show some slides. Because this is that harvest functionality of the data registry of India, and these are some of the menus: home, harvest, search, registration process, and proposals. Proposals mean, in fact, someone has to see, and through the governance mechanism can decide whether a particular data set is to be registered and in what way, what standards are followed. All those have come in the form of proposals from different agencies to NSDI for registration. Thus, this is how the harvest mechanism is done from the data node. Like you can see from this data node, the harvest. This is the harvest mechanism. This is how the Sarof India harvest is there. Thus, I will show you the NBSS node. In fact, this NBSS node, Dr. O.B. Reddy has been providing some of the data sets from NBSS, though not all, but there are two layers we are showing you. This is the NBSS LUP data node hosted from the virtual machine on the cloud platform. And you can see the soil profile, the water body. Only two layers have been engineered and then served as OGC compliant web feature service in a GML form. In fact, this GML, you can see the geography markup language format. That's an OGC standard, which is acceptable to all standards compliant GIS packages for processing of data. Thus, this is a display of the NBSS layer, the soil layer with water body, with the attribute data sets. In fact, the geometry part and the attribute part both have been shown here from the database, retrieved from the database. You can see the latitude, longitude here, the scale here, because this is the zoom scale. and you can see the column names here. In fact, from the from the NBSS shape file, a bit of re-engineering has to be done in order to store into a processable WFS service and hosting the service for providing the GML data or KML data or in many other kinds of data. You can see all these formats, various kinds of formats you can see, shape format as well. Thus, this is the core of the data infrastructure or the data node that is getting set up at NBSS LOP. And Dr. Obbi Reddy has been instrumental, helpful in making this NBSS LOP node implemented with the help of the SOI cloud platform, SOI cloud platform, with the support of the system integrator. Because this is the water body layer. You can see the attribute data. In fact, together for every water body, you can find out this data, and these are all from relational database. Why relational database? Relational databases have that technique inbuilt into a DBMS for faster insertion, deletion, updation, modification of data sets. Thus, trying to build upon the strength of DBMS, database management systems, in building the geospatial data sets. Thus, the NDR portal, this is the live portal screenshot taken from the NDR live portal. You can see here NBSS, SOI. There are 6 agencies currently participating in the NSDA framework. This is Karnataka State Council. Dr. Hemant Kumar may be there. He may give some details about the KCST activities. In fact, KCST has a data center in each district of Karnataka. Thus data management is improved. And then this is the MOSPI data sets, MOSPI data, then FSI data and GSI data. Like these are the 6 agencies are currently involved. You can see here metadata search. One can search the metadata and add for a spatial query or dynamic query building process. Here you can see all those agencies data together, which are getting loaded to the cloud through the web feature service for further processing. And in the diagram, you can see different data layers shown from all these 6 agencies: soil, topography, geology, then statistical data, not visible here, and cadastral data from Karnataka government. All those have been shown here. Now we'll show you a sample query. Now this is the NBSS soil map for Mysore district, for which datasets have been shared with NSDI by NBSS LOP. You can see the feature data, attribute data here. Together, this constitutes the soil layer of Mysore from Karnataka, provided by NBSS, and this is the cadastral data from Karnataka SDI. This is for a gram panchayat, a cluster of villages, where you can see the cadastral boundaries. And one can query on both these through a query builder and using the capabilities of DBMS, the relational database management system. Thus, this is the execution of the query, setting some criteria. The dynamic query can be implemented by combining the soil data from NBSS with the cadastral data from Karnataka government. Thus, this is the complete process from the registration till the outputs, and then one can print the results by taking the print of the map as well as the attributes. Like some criteria has been set to identify these pink color cadastral areas having a particular soil type, soil profile data. Thus, this kind of query is possible using the metadata of the geospatial based on geospatial standards, geospatial metadata standards 1614339, 16439, and ISO 19115. And the NDR metadata, there are certain additional metadata from NDR which are to be created. That is the definition, because we have to go to the meaning of interoperable sharing, meaning of data in the context of interoperable sharing. That is the semantic interoperability. Thus, the register stores the feature concept definitions of different data sets. Also, it stores the application schema, that is the data model, so that the schematic heterogeneity problem is addressed and schematic interoperability is ensured, and the data format, that is GML, KML, or other kinds of standard formats could be addressing the syntactic interoperability. So thus, this is the concept of interoperability, and in catalog search across all agencies. In fact, what you see here is only a set of 6 agencies, 5 central agencies, IDS, FSI, MBSS, and MUSPI, and the state agency, Karnataka government data. Thus, this has to be expanded in the coming 3 years. That's our SFC or EFC, the NSDI, EFC, or SFC. Thus, that is how the NDR is going to be implemented, and what's the future? Thus, the NDR future is to bring out a mandatory requirement of registering all data getting collected in the country, so that there is unique ID assigned to each feature data, and that would require publication of a suitable legislation. In fact, there should be a legislation mandating this publication of datasets or registration of datasets, like our automobile registration or citizen registration, or there are many other registration activities which are essential to optimize investments of resources, so that datasets are fully understood and there is no duplication of data acquisition, data storage, and data processing. Thus, you can see here the NSDA and India partnering agencies, only 6 agencies participating in India activity. And what is the next? Like what is the way forward for NSDI? Because that may provide some kind of a cue to ICAR PC effort to define the roadmap. In fact, the next stage is to build up the foundation data at high resolution, and that has to be done through the state SDI and NSDI mechanism, so that there are better equipment platforms available, better acquisition platforms available, like drones or low altitude flying techniques, so that there could be high resolution foundation data on which one can add further details. There should be absolute consistency, seamlessness, reliability, accuracy, updatedness associated with these foundation data layers. And the next step of foundation data layer is to provide the geospatial application requirements, application services for concept and ward level governance. That's the next stage. And here is the architecture showing the field devices for the management of the life cycles of data sets, because data sets have to be updated. And then here is the server in the state SDI infrastructure, which receives field level data from field level devices. And then those servers provide the data services like map service, catalog service, feature service, etc., to the applications and clients. There is a security requirement here. It should be highly secured to there also a security layer required this side. Thus, this is how the state SDI infrastructure is going to be upgraded with the addition of the components of data lifecycle management and provision of application services. Thus, this is the existing state, as I said, several state SDI platforms have been established in about 15 states at different stages of implementation. Some have already provided geoportals, and some are in the process of providing their portals. Thus, this is our next stage of activity for the next year. The EFC is in process, but 1 year activity we have to submit for our budgetary purposes. Thus, we are going to add other agencies, more central and state agencies, into the NDR framework. Then data processing platform is going to be upgraded rather, for a faster computing power. 50 application services we are proposing to develop in this year. And then the sustenance, the geoportal, and sustenance of the SDI geoportals, because those are important. Maintenance, sustenance and maintenance would require budgeting. Because this is not just project-based, this is institution-based activity. There should be permanent or sustained support decision making. Thus, that is an additional objective or activity. Then there should be training and sensitization workshops and data standards to be developed. Here, I would like to bring out, in fact, that is one of our recommendations. There is a need for standardizing two things, that is the soil data content, so that all agencies, according soil data, like at ICAR level, that is APSS or AISLUS, or at state level, that is the state soil conservation departments, all should be viewed in a comprehensive way so that all data sets are interoperable, integrable, and those are deliverable for providing the application services. Thus, here we need to have a consultation. I had already raised this issue with Dr. Obi Reddy, how to hold this consultation workshop so that there is a national data content standard on soils, so that all the data layers of all agencies concerned with this domain of soils get standardized for the sake of interoperability, because that would bring in the schematic interoperability and, of course, subsequently the semantic interoperability. Thus, one important requirement is to finalize the national data standard. We propose a workshop for that, STI, PSS, IMAS workshop. And there should be a national standard so that any contract assigned to anybody should be mandated to follow the soil national data content standard. And the other requirement is the soil application. In fact, we need to standardize the applications in the domain of soil, how the soil data sets are to be applied in agriculture or in other domains. Those need to be standardized. That also we should do. Thus, those are about the data management, but research is a part of all DA activities. Thus, there was a conference on data science, COTS, and conference on management of data. There was a ACM, Association Computing Machinery Data workshop in January 2020 at Indian School of Business. These are some of the areas. In fact, these are the indications how SDI is moving towards. There would be autonomous spatial data platforms. There would be less and less of manual handling of geospatial data. There would be data streaming from different platforms, videos. I heard video links are also getting registered or published through metadata in the morning presentation. Just in this same way, that there are going to be autonomous spatial data platforms. Then cloud, edge, or fog computing. Cloud is the highest level. Edge is the next level. Low computing capacity is with fog computing. Then the analytics, data analytics. This is an important thing even for soil application. We should the processes, the natural processes, and then model in order to predict. And then the geospatial machine and deep learning techniques. I also saw that in the presentation today, Dr. Segal's presentation, ML and DL, those are to be there because we are capturing the definitions of data sets. It is not far away that we will be able to make the systems understand through machine learning techniques. Then, of course, the high-end database management, image database and ocean data sets, how those are to be managed. In addition, there are some areas, interoperability and integration of information. Thus, how can we extrapolate to the agriculture domain? Then, the volunteer geography information, how one can contribute to the trust factor. And then indoor positioning modeling. This is for the city GIS for our 3D buildings. Then for security, blockchain and distributed ledger technology, immersive experiences, new data sources and platforms, linked data, because semantics are coming in a big way. Ontological models should be there, and agriculture is very rich in requirement of developing ontological models. Then, of course, legal and policy developments, skills and training. These are the and techniques of skills and training to be developed. Data science has to percolate down to all levels, and SDI awareness should also be encouraged. Thus, these are some of the areas where research is going to happen. And last slide is about the recommendations. Thus, based on all these, and then what we presented and what we heard since morning. Prasad, all those, I mean, I tried some just before started speaking because we need life cycle management. What is our focus? How do we manage, update our data? Is there enough focus relating to agriculture domain? Soil data, how fast it is updated? How fast it is required to be updated? And then what should the resolution currency of any data, crop data, or Krishi has got, ICAR Krishi portal has got so many data sets, but what is the management strategy, life cycle management strategy? Then up-to-date data should be processable and made shareable in standard-based formats, along with standards-based metadata and registry data for interoperability. This is a very big sentence statement with many things brought into one statement. Thus, this may be considered a recommendation for the deliberation today. How can we teacher services I heard standards. SAFE is also processable, but is our data SAFE compliant, or is it any specific to any proprietary package, or there is an independent format from where we can go to any other format? That's how we have to see. But the data sets we received from NBSS are mostly in SAFE format, SAFE file format. That's where how do we standardize? That's another recommendation. Then the third recommendation is for the integration of geoportals at Krishi level, you should have a register at different levels. You should have a register at ICAR Krishi level. Probably, you may consider, this is our experience from NSDR, because unless we store metadata somewhere, how do we discover, search, and how do we update the metadata? My second recommendation is updation of data, but the third recommendation is updation of metadata. Metadata must be harvested automatically. In 15 days, a week, or every 6 months. Those are to be details of strategies to be worked out, but there is a need for having registers as against repositories. Repositories are data repositories, but we should have some metadata or catalog somewhere available. How do we identify the data in a faster mode? The data and application register. And we heard a lot of other techniques. ICAR is having a large number of analytical techniques using remote sensing data, using geospatial data, but is there a comprehensive collection of catalog service available? Thus, there is a need for having both data and application register for agriculture as a comprehensive catalog for automatic harvesting of relevant metadata from individual geoportals. And here I mentioned what I mentioned just before: BIS data content standards, soil consultation should be there, and agricultural application standards for all stakeholders should also be drawn up, so that, like in a bank officer find out savings, how much the customer is having, he or she goes to the application, clicks the button, and gets the saving return, the saving amount return. Similarly, we should standardize the application so that the process is faster. The application, soil health card, issue of soil health card. The soil health card is used for different applications. Those applications should be identified and standardized. Could be a BIS standard as well. And the next recommendation is a more structured and institutional approach to spatial agricultural research information by identifying theme by theme. Which theme? Let's go down to theme, because Dr. Ogunwusi gave us so many soil manuals, soil profiles of different districts. We found many themes. Maybe those are already standardized, but it should be published somewhere for consumption by all, that these are the soil themes, and then these are the attributes of the corresponding themes, and who are the custodians of those data sets. Custodians have to maintain the data sets. The other day, Secretary DS2 was referring to our project output. Who are the custodians of project output? How do we consolidate on project output? Thus, there is a need for defining custodians. Maybe NBS is the custodian for some of the data themes, and AIS LUS may be custodian, but we have to publish it. Which custodian are the custodians for which geometry and which attribute. And also there should be clear-cut data delivery supply chains for integration with decision-making workflows. Like in different departments, there are data sets used from soils or other crop-related data sets, agriculture, for different decisions. How do we integrate? That should be our vision. We need to integrate, because when the data sets are or services are interoperable, the data services are interoperable, it should be possible to integrate data set services with e-office kind of a software. E-office doesn't have geospatial workflows, but in years to come, we are going to see geospatial workflows built into our office procedures. Different decision makers seeing the geospatial display maps for taking decisions. That integration would be possible only when we have got the custodians and we define the themes and we have clear-cut data delivery supply chains. And all these should contribute to economic growth. And the last one is the R&D priorities. You just saw the R&D priorities which NSDI is trying to support in coming years. But how do we align those priorities with the domain of agriculture? Maybe that in the context of agriculture domain, those priorities are supported by ICAR, and then there could be joint activities for immediately translating the benefits of emerging geospatial technologies, SDI technology standards, to the application domain of agriculture. Thus, with these words, I would like to thank for a patient hearing. I acknowledge contributions by different presenters, different contributing organizers. In fact, what we saw is really not the work of NSDI. It is the work of the contributing organizations, and NBSSLUP is primarily contributing to different aspects of NSDI. Thus, at the end, I am thankful for NBSSLUP, ICAR, for inviting me and giving us the opportunity. My colleagues are also there, giving us the opportunity to present, sensitize, and recommend some of the important requirements of NSDI in the context of agriculture. Thank you very much. I think I crossed my time limit, but I am thankful to Dr. Obi Reddy for giving me a blank check that I can extend to. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Obi Reddy.
Thank you, Dr. Acharya Saab, for very elaborative and thought-provoking talk on various aspects. I also thank our colleagues, Mr. Sri Nandaji, then